What's up, hybrids? Welcome back to another episode of the Fandom Hybrid Podcast. This is Hanako, and I am here with Anthony and Mike, and we are discussing season 3, episode 4 of Marvel's What If series, and what is probably Mike's favorite episode of the series because it's starring who else but Howard the Duck. I know you have been chomping at the bit to discuss this one, haven't you?
Since I've seen it. But before I go into it, I didn't totally love this episode. No, I'm
What?
just fucking with you.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, who are
no,
you
I
and what
no,
have
no,
you done with Michael Collins?
no, I love that. There were a couple things that were kind of weird about this episode for me, like the whole Caecilius and Fury like fighting and shooting and Fury shooting and not hitting anybody, and like that I was just like, nah. But I
Weirder
mean,
than Howard the Duck being married to Darcy?
That strangely is
what if?
not weird.
I mean, it's like I don't, I didn't, I just look. The way I approach What If is I just pretty much let them tell me what the story is about, and I basically go with it. This is basically What If is Marvel's version of Fast and Furious. It's just like you don't go into Fast and Furious looking for shit that makes sense because there's nothing that makes sense in Fast and Furious.
Okay,
Just
I'll
like
give
What
you
If,
that.
it's
I'll
just
give you that.
they're just scenarios. So I'm like, oh, this is a scenario. Okay, cool. Somehow somehow Darcy had Janae. Cool. Let's go from there. I I didn't care. I
Okay.
love this. The little baby kid in me that grew up in the late 70s that loved Kiss, loved them singing "I Was Made for Loving You" throughout this episode.
I wonder how much
That
they
was
had to pay to use that song.
that came off that. They came off that. Yeah. But I mean, I loved everything about it was incredible to me. And I I mean, down to the Raiders of the Lost Ark callback in the end was dope. I was not expecting that, but I was like, cool.
Okay.
But yes, I love this episode. So go ahead, Anthony.
Well, I'm not gonna say I hated it. It definitely was not great. um, I
You're a hard man to please,
I'm
Anthony.
trying. I'm trying, Mike. I really am.
And I appreciate the effort. I really do. I appreciate
um,
the effort. Cool.
I appreciate that you said that it's very much one of those things where what if is you just go with it no matter how ridiculous the circumstances are. But I would kind of argue that the reason why what if it kind of works is it is plausible. That is something that could be based on certain decisions or choices. Yeah, it can stretch a little bit, like Infinity Ultron trying to wipe out all life, you know. Um Strange, what did we call him? Sinister Strange?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. But however, I don't know. I didn't it didn't bother me that it was Darcy and Howard being married. It didn't bother me they had a kid. Um, but once again, we have an episode where they decided to throw in the kitchen sink. Like, oh, you remember all those obscure characters that people just kind of halfway remember? Let's throw them in the episode. You know, let's just put them in here. Caecilius, uh, Frost Loki. Let's throw them all in here.
Can
Just
you
for the heck
consider
of it.
Caecilius an obscure character considering he was like the main villain of a whole Doctor Strange movie?
Yeah, but
Doctor
he has to
Strange
come
movie
back.
that a lot of people didn't see.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
I mean, just like they didn't bring back him or Dormammu. It's like they brought back Mordo, but they didn't bring back either one of them. So it's like I mean, they kind of use Caecilius, and plus, Caecilius was I didn't like Caecilius in the first Doctor Strange movie. He was kind of a forgettable character for me.
Okay.
It's just like I didn't really miss him in Multiverse of Madness. I was just like, he didn't have to show up. It's
Right.
just I didn't like that performance. So
Yeah,
he should have been better, but he wasn't.
But my main thing is, again, we've gotten away from the spirit of What If. Like, it wasn't a particular decision that changed the course of events, really. It's just a story. Like, this just is a standalone, or it could be a standalone episode of just, oh, wouldn't it be cool if Darcy and Howard got married and had a baby, and the baby was born during the Convergence, and the baby is important because it's okay. But it doesn't, to me, it doesn't go with the spirit of What If. And I guess I'm starting to become less enamored with the show, because it seems over the last couple of seasons it's just getting further and further away from the What If premise. Like, I would prefer to just have What If standalone episodes, and not episodes that's going to tie into some overarching thing or whatever, because it's obviously what they're going towards. So I don't know. It was all right. It was just all right. I mean, it wasn't as referential as a previous episode, but it did have these characters that you're just like, oh, and Fury, you're right. This was so uncharacteristically not Fury.
Right. I have a theory about that.
What? Why?
That it wasn't really Fury, that it was probably one of the Skrulls or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that was 100% a Skrull.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
obviously that was
this is just like in the Marvels when he was like, "Come on, Black Girl Magic." I'm like,
okay.
Even though I was digging even though Fury Out was funny as shit to me. Like, every time he said it, I busted my ass out laughing.
I was so confused when he said it, because I was like, since when did Fury start doing that? Like, it's so weird. But so I'm gonna go opposite of Anthony, because I won't say that I love this episode because of necessarily the story, but I just thought it was one of the funnier episodes. And coming off of the last two episodes, which were, kind of mixed for me, I laughed a lot during this one. And I think that's why I liked it. And then, not to mention, like I said, one of the things I love about What If is that you take these characters that generally don't have anything to do with each other in the MCU, and you kind of put them together. And in this one, it was so funny because you have, so the premise of the show is this whole thing, like you say, Anthony, about Howard the Duck and Darcy getting married, and they have this baby that's an egg that they're waiting to hatch. And because this egg was, I don't even know how to describe it. She didn't lay the egg. She claims she gave birth to it after she was in labor. So while she was in labor during the Convergence, apparently there's supposed to be this great cosmic being that was, conceived at this time, which is supposedly Darcy and Howard's egg. And so you have everybody in this universe literally trying to come and get this egg. So you see the Grandmaster, you see Yondu and the Ravagers, you see S.H.I.E.L.D. as far as Nick Fury and Agent Coulson, you have Caecilius, you have Laufey, you have Zeus of all people, you have the Dark Elves, you have Ebony Maw, you have Thanos, and you have all of these different villains or characters from all these different Marvel properties coming together, but separately, trying to get this egg. And I just thought it was so funny because you get to see them not only fighting to get the egg, they're fighting each other. There's a little bit of comic banter going on. I just thought it was a funny episode. And then you have Howard and Darcy together, which, okay, I make the joke about them being together, but it's so funny because I feel like they are a perfect pairing. Like, they play off each other very well. And so I really liked it because I thought it was funny. It was very light. Even though people were trying to kidnap or either eat their egg. What the fuck, Grandmaster? But even though that was the case, it was just very lighthearted. And I didn't really need it to mean something bigger, because I think if you look at the previous 3 episodes for this particular season, I don't really see where the characters are going to converge and it be a bigger story, kind of like the last 2 seasons with Captain Carter and how this became kind of her story. So it was fun to me. I wasn't looking for anything kind of, I think because of the last couple of episodes, I'm just kind of like not expecting anything. I'm not expecting some grand story. I'm not expecting any big reveals. I was just like, I went into this knowing it was going to be ridiculous because it's Howard the Duck. And I was just like, okay, let me see what they're going to do. And I actually enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So Anthony is looking like, no.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I didn't laugh not one time, except maybe when I realized they were gonna eat the egg, and I chuckled.
You are so dark.
The best thing about this episode was the freaking kiss song. I mean, that was it.
Wow, you are a tough cookie to crack.
Yeah. That's a great song, though. The song.
Oh, the Kiss song. That's one of their best songs. That's
a great song.
It is.
It's a great song. It carried the episode.
Wow.
No, I don't. Anthony, this is supposed to be the holiday season.
It is what it is.
We're supposed to be bringing cheer.
Whatever. I'm sorry. I'm not expecting greatness anymore, but I do have a certain level of expectation when I watch something, and this did not meet even the bare minimum expectation.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
the last episode was by far superior to this episode.
Wow.
The last episode was clearly funnier than this. The last episode had me dying.
No.
The one-liners, everything. This thing, Zeus, Russell Crowe is freaking ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid. The whole episode.
But that's not Russell Crowe, so.
I mean, I'm just saying that version of Zeus.
Yeah.
He was obviously trying to channel that version of Zeus. Mm-hmm. And I was like, blah. Whatever.
Oh, God. Really?
I was kind of surprised that they threw him in there because.
Why? Why are you not surprised?
I'm not surprised.
I'm just saying because if you want to talk about obscure characters, and even though I know Zeus is not an obscure character in anything by far, but the fact that we just got introduced to that character in Thor: Love and Thunder, and it's kind of like only briefly, and then they bring him in here, which, okay, yeah, What If kind of does that, but it was just, I guess, strange in that sense because, like, why would he need the baby? He's Zeus. But yeah,
but I mean, it's that version of Zeus. It's like, because there's so many versions that have come out that portray him wildly differently. I mean, we just had Jeff Goldblum as Zeus in Chaos, so it's like this version.
You can't do that, Mike. This is a completely different property.
I know. He's just talking about Zeus in general.
Let me finish. Jeez. Okay.
Anthony said we are not about to say anything to convince him to like this episode.
I'm just saying. Look, this version of Zeus, I can believe would want something that could help him continue his reign as far as being the king. I can see him going after that. Also, real quick, I know this episode kind of, to me, I don't know about y'all, but I mean, honestly, this episode with the baby, I just, for some reason, I think that there's something else with her. I mean, she's really important, obviously, or everybody wouldn't be going through all this trouble to get her. So there has to be some kind of tying thread. And as we've seen in What If, they take multiple episodes sometimes and tie different things together and put different things to get to the point of the final episode or the penultimate episode to get there. So I would just hold off judgment until then. But I don't know why I'm talking to you, because you're not even listening to me.
I'm listening to every word you're saying. Every word. Okay.
All right, but
every word.
I mean, I can't believe you didn't find Loki selling Ice Giant timeshares funny. Like that wasn't funny to you?
No, it wasn't.
You're my brother from another mother's old lady, sister from another mist.
No, it wasn't funny. It wasn't
Really?
funny. No, no, nothing about this episode
Wow.
was
Anthony is the
funny.
Ebenezer Scrooge
You had,
of the What If
you,
series.
you
Wow.
had to at least have
I'm
laughed
sitting.
at the first Fury Out. You had to have laughed. The first Fury Out.
I almost cried at the death of one of my favorite beloved characters.
I mean, see, you know what? No, whatever. I don't believe
It can't be any worse than Secret Invasion.
No, God, nothing will ever be as bad as that.
Okay.
No,
cool.
I would never disparage another show to that degree.
Okay. As long as we're straight on that. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
We were talking about this particular episode. This specific episode. It's just, I don't know. I'm watching it and I'm like, this is stupid. And it just kept getting dumber and dumber and dumber. And you know, the bright spots, the song, Darcy and Howard. That's it. I could have done without everything else.
That adorable baby. That baby wasn't cute. I mean,
it was an egg.
But we didn't even see the baby's reveal until the end of the episode. So
yeah.
I mean, she's cute and all, but it was so
strange.
Yeah, the whole egg thing, that was kind of weird because when Darcy had her, she's like, oh yeah, she looks like me. And I'm like, it's an egg. How does she look like me?
Right.
So those little things were
mothers
kind of...
know. You know this too. Mothers know exactly everything about their children. So she knew that it looked just like her.
I wish those of you who are just listening, I wish you could see the look Anthony and I are giving Mike right now.
Mothers know these things. As far as I've been reading, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was kind of strange.
Fine.
I do enjoy the fact that they are getting a lot of the original actors who portrayed these characters in live action to come back and do the voiceovers. I do love that part because even for the small parts, just to hear the familiarity, like Michael Rooker being Yondu and only being on screen for like maybe 2 minutes tops. I was just like, hey, it's Rooker. I like that, and I think the person, there's an actor who actually did the voice dubbing for the Grandmaster in this episode, and it was not Jeff Goldblum. He sounds so much like him, and I thought he did a really, really good job. They do have a lot of talent coming in to do the voice work for these particular episodes, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, and they did some great work. Yeah, they really did.
But Anthony's like, that's about all I got. Wow. I don't even know if we should have a longer episode because Anthony just did not like this episode. It makes me sad.
I said I can't say I hated it. This is blah. It's just I was really struggling to watch it to make it through the episode. It was a struggle.
So of the 4 episodes we've seen so far, where does this rank for you? I don't even need to ask Mike. I already know.
You'd be surprised about
asking me.
Yeah,
of the 4 episodes, this is definitely last place.
Really? Even under the Agatha episode?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Agatha would be 3.
Wow.
The mashup would be 2, and last episode would be 1.
Oh, okay.
To Seth Green and Kat Dennings, the views presented by Anthony are not the views of FandomHybrid.com.
My issue was not with Darcy and Howard. It really wasn't.
Yeah, he did say that. He said that they kind of carried the episode, because of the chemistry with those 2 characters. Like, those 2 characters are funny, and it's like, I kind of sort of want to see this in live action, as weird as it is. But it just, I don't know, something about those 2 characters work. So
it does. I love Darth. I think they're just, I can't wait to see how their kid turns out, because the kid's going to be sarcastic, mouthy, and smart just like they are, and it's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it's going to be a younger combination of them. It's going to be great and brilliant and hilarious, sir.
And she has powers, so that's going to be interesting because
Yay.
Huh?
Yay.
You know what?
You you didn't get hyped over the baby doing the Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark fatality on everybody around them. That was cool as
Yeah,
shit.
except for the people that matter, they conveniently were able to dodge.
Well, so the Indiana Jones and what's her name? What's your point? That's kind of what happens.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think what she did was she targeted the people that were trying to either kill her, eat
Harmed
her,
it.
or
Right.
destroy her. And the ones who she spared, like Nick Fury and Coulson, weren't trying to harm her. They were trying to protect her. And they didn't think that a regular human person and like they said, an outlaw duck would be able to protect them. So it's not like they were trying to harm her. So they would have naturally been spared.
Of course.
Yeah.
Hanukkah. Of
And
course.
let's
A
see.
gambling addict duck. That's what he
Zeus left. Loki and Laufey were, Loki wasn't trying to harm her. Loki was actually trying to help her parents. Laufey was just like, well, I don't know. I guess Loki.
Everyone was trying to kidnap her except the Grandmaster. He was the only one trying to eat her, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
he's a grandmaster who can explain anything that he does.
That is
just
true.
Like he's weird.
That is true.
When Caecilius just wanted.
He wanted
to Rosemary baby.
Oh, Rosemary, that was great. Actually, I think I did chuckle at that. I did chuckle at that because that was funny. That was funny.
Okay, we found one thing. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I think if this is a being with cosmic powers, and I don't know why Aladdin just came into my head because I was about to say itty bitty living space. I mean, she's trapped inside an egg, right? But if she's a being with cosmic powers, she should be able to detect all the people who are trying to harm her and single them out. So that is actually not as implausible as it sounds. And then especially when you think about the Watcher's narration in the beginning, and he said something about this being a a cosmic being that will have, what did he say, will be very important to the universe, or has a big, I can't remember what the wording was, but obviously she's going to be important for something. And kind of like you said, Mike, we may see something with her later on. This is still only episode 4, so we still have 4 episodes before the end of the series, so she may show up a little bit later and be important, because like you said,
they did a whole episode on her. It's like there has to be something. It's like a whole episode on a baby
on trying to protect her. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know what else to say, since I mean Anthony doesn't like it, we like it. I thought it, like I said, I thought it was funny. I thought it was kind of light, and it was it was very fun. But I think this is one of those episodes too where we talk about this with the other What If series. They always throw an episode in the middle that kind of doesn't make a lot of sense, and it seems a little more lighthearted, and then the episodes we get after that are a little bit darker. So maybe that's what this is, and what it was supposed to be, kind of like that palate cleanser before they get all dark with us. I mean, we are coming to the end of the series as a whole, not just the season. So there's probably going to be some death in there.
I thought last episode was light and not as dark. This one, they're literally trying to eat. He's literally going to serve the egg as the baby as dinner, and another character is going to possess her with a demon from another dimension.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my definition of light is a little bit off.
And look, this is actually,
and all these people trying to kidnap, and not even a newborn. I mean, literally a newborn. They're all trying to kidnap this newborn. It's not lighthearted to me.
Look, this is basically a continuation of the Party Thor episode, because they showed it because they got married in the Party Thor episode. They met in the Party Thor episode. This is basically a spinoff of that. So yes, it is a lighthearted palate cleanser until we delve into the deepness that's probably getting ready to come and probably send us into a spiraling depression. So just enjoy it for what it is, and laugh at the parts that I know you laughed at. and just just appreciate it. I mean, they did the Who's on First joke for nowhere. That was
They did
well, I
the
was
who?
done
They
before.
did the what joke?
The no when he said, I know where they're going. They're going to no where are they
Going
going?
nowhere.
Oh
Where
Nowhere.
they go?
yeah.
Nowhere. Nowhere.
I'm like, where are
Where
they
are they
going?
going?
Where?
Nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that joke held on a little bit too long. I will say that. But you know,
That joke is low hanging fruit for a writer. It really is.
no,
I
I know.
mean, yeah.
I know. I know. But
But this thing had
oh,
a lot of really cool Easter eggs too. Like, I mean, when they were getting ready to get on the ship, they offered cliff diving on Vormir. I'm like what?
and it's an experience that you can only enjoy with
There's
someone
a
you love.
couple.
I was like, y'all are dead ass wrong for that.
That was funny. That was funny, and you had to be paying attention for that. That was cool as shit. And shout out to Howard the Duck being a Android user because he used Google Translate to find out what the menu was saying.
Yeah, that menu. I tell you, the Grandmaster, he's just one of those characters. It's just
He's a
like
mess.
just when you think he can't sink any lower, then you get to see him again and you get to see just how low he can go.
Sorry,
So
low.
yeah. But oh, okay. Anthony didn't like the episode. Me and Mike liked the
I
episode.
didn't
Mike, well,
say I
Mike,
didn't like it.
He said it was okay.
It was all right. It
I'm sorry, I
was all right.
AIGHT. It was I.
I really don't think there's too much more to say about the episode. Then is
and I'm hurt by this. I'm like we're not even at 30 minutes yet. We're like almost done. I'm like, man,
Okay,
this is my
well,
but I
episode.
mean
here's
to be
some
fair,
positives.
Mike.
I do like the locations that we went to. We went to nowhere. You know,
Mm-hmm.
had to go to
Jotunheim.
Jotunheim.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So to be fair, Mike, the episode was not really overly complicated. And I think that's why there's not a lot of discussion for us because it's not like there were varying plots and it's not like there were a lot of characters that we were like usually kind of dissecting what their what their motives are and all this other stuff. There's not a lot of conflict. It's literally everybody is trying to get hands on this baby because the baby was born during the convergence.
Yeah.
So it's
like,
kind of simplified. There really isn't a lot to dissect with this one, for lack of better words.
I kind of I kind of confused convergence with emergence. I was like, oh, does that mean that the celestials coming out? Or I was like, oh, convergence. That's like with
the
the
convergence.
I was like, okay,
mm-hmm.
yeah, because this is what I get for bringing up the Eternals in the Agatha episode. I've been thinking like that's got to pay off somehow too, because they don't do that's what they do. It's like they don't bring something up that's not going to pay off. So I was like, so I had to kind of think about that too.
Yeah.
So disappointed.
Yeah, but throwing these things in from movies and stories which weren't very popular is just a little odd, to me.
It kind of makes me wonder if they're actually like, I know that they've announced that they're not going to do the Eternals 2. I know that they're some of the other properties that we've seen are kind of questionable or in the air. Like I said, we don't know if there's going to be a Shang-Chi 2. We don't know if Moon Knight season 2 is going to come, but they are throwing these characters in there. So it makes me wonder if maybe we will still see these characters at some point in live action, just maybe not in their own things. And that's why they're kind of putting them in here, maybe to familiarize people with the characters. But again, that goes back to that conversation that we've had about the people who watch the shows versus the people who watch the movies, and whether or not those two audiences are going to converge. I
mean, but what's the point of throwing in the Dark Elves? We're not going to see the Dark Elves again.
No, but I think that
we're not going to see. We're not going to see Zeus again, because I doubt if they do another Thor movie.
They're supposed to be one more Thor movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm not hanging my hat on that. So
and I mean they did kind of throw out Hercules there. So If
Yeah.
Hercules comes back, then Zeus kind of ties into that too. So you never know.
Yeah. So
Mm.
the other ones like the Dark Elves, Caecilius and all that, that goes back to what you said in the last episode, Anthony, about the throwbacks, just kind of, those references maybe, just for
It's
fun or just because, hey, let's just give them all these different enemies who would want them for different reasons. I mean,
yeah.
if you think about what Birdie is supposed to represent, this cosmic power, and she may have something to do with, the greater universe in general. The Dark Elves were looking for power in Thor: The Dark World. We know that Laufey was looking for domination. We know Caecilius was looking for a vessel for Dormammu. So, I mean,
Thanos.
and well, Thanos didn't even. Thanos was like, "Y'all called me for
That
an
was
egg? Like,
that was funny
really?"
as shit.
And Ebony Maw was like, "But it's a magical
It's
egg." And Thanos was
magical.
like, "Okay, but I mean,
Shout
Thanos was like, got bigger fish to
shout,
fry."
shout out to Ebony Maw using Groupon to get a deal on a conference space.
On a conference space for a resort that hasn't even opened yet. Speaking of which, the fact that Loki and Laufey offered the ducks a comped room in the lodge, I'm like, what lodge? Zeus destroyed it when he
It
got
ain't no lodge
there.
no more. It's gone.
So yeah. So
Yeah, I thought that was funny as shit though. It's like they came down, they were like, "Don't take our dog. No, you're taking our baby." They're like, "No, we're here for a conference. We have a
like we're here
Groupon."
for a conference, but you said magical baby.
Exactly.
Okay, we can
Like,
do that. But yeah.
it's really almost as if these things are really written for people like us who go into the minutia of the MCU
Yeah.
and the comics that are into all of this weird and strange stuff. It's just I don't know. I'm still a little sore from WandaVision.
I know. I
I know
know.
it's hard to heal. I
They
know.
will
It is,
forever be having to make that up to you
but
because
it's like
yeah.
they've really leaned into it. Like
Mhm.
really leaned into this
Yeah.
more
And they
more than I
also
would have
have a
liked.
they have a habit of making these references that um don't necessarily pan out, just throwing stuff in there. Like you said, for those of us who are kind of deeper into it, you guys more than I because you guys are more familiar with the comics, but just like even in the Agatha show when they mentioned Mephisto. It's kind of like, why would you even throw that name in there if there's nothing going to come out of it? Like you guys have been mentioning Mephisto or the possibility of Mephisto ever since WandaVision. That was like one of the things that kind of threw you off. So yeah, I guess we just have to see where they go with this and whether or not it's going to have bigger implications in other stories.
I just don't. I mean, it's weird because okay, for example, Creature Commandos, like everybody in Creature Commandos that's doing the voice acting is going to be in live action when they do that in live action.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually transfers. But this is actually the reverse of it. It's like they're trying to get a lot of they get 70, 75, 80% of the actors who actually played the part to do the voice acting. So maybe 80, 85%. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're trying to like draw a parallel, but I don't think that certain things that they haven't really delved into, like as much as I want it in my heart, they're probably not going to do a Howard the Duck movie. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not going to see little baby Birdie as a full blown adult. I'm probably not going to see how, like, unless, I mean, if they delve into it, they're not going to do it because they've already risked. They'll probably feel they've already risked that with Eternals and it didn't work out, and they don't have James Gunn to give it whatever magic he has to turn something obscure into a cult classic.
Right.
And it's like until they find that, they're not really going to delve into something that they don't think is going to become profitable, popular, and a staple. It's just like they're going to kind of stay the course and do things that are familiar And anytime they stray out, it's going to have a direct connection to something that's already been established. So it's just like they're not going to take that risk again because they've been burned too many times. So
Yeah.
we're just going to have to wait and see if if see how everything pans out. Like if Secret Wars and all the other stuff that they're doing actually goes back up to the level that if that Infinity War and Endgame was at, like maybe they'll reconsider it. But I don't think they will because once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys have any final thoughts to say about this episode?
Fine. In the words of Thanos, fine. I'll do it myself. All right. Shout out to the Grandmaster when they were seated for dinner, raising himself, then looking to the side and lowering Darcy and Howard. That was funny as shit. I'm like, really? You weren't high enough, dog? It's like that was awesome to me. And shout out to another little Easter egg, Caecilius when Yondu said that he has a whole lot of offers. He's like, sorry, Dormammu doesn't bargain anymore, and took the egg from him. Like when they were in nowhere.
Yeah.
He said Dormammu doesn't bargain. I'm like, yeah, he already got burned by that. By Doctor Strange. See? Yeah. Okay.
I was laughing at you. Hey, you're a joke. You should be a writer on this show.
I should, right? Okay, so shout out to Loki thinking he was going to be a godfather after when they got up when they were there. They were like that whole conversation was hilarious to me. Like Loki is it's so weird seeing Loki aloof and not really kind of dialed
not
into
trying to take over the world.
Yeah, and not really knowing what's going on. Like I thought that was hilarious to me. Shout out to the Watcher always being in the back. It was kind of creepy, but him being in the background in the
nursery. That was kind of creepy. That was kind of creepy. I was like,
okay, buddy. I also I love Fury said first time mom and gambling addict. He was like, hey, I'm in recovery. I got a chip. That's not the right chip.
What kind of chip was that he was holding? I didn't see.
It looked like one of the chips that he had from last year's first episode, the Blade Runner episode where he was running the casino.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of like a chip like that. Yeah. So at any rate, okay. Like I said in previous episodes, I have changed my ways. I respect everybody's opinion on everything, especially Anthony, because he's one of the smartest guys I know, and he's one guy that I respect thoroughly as far as nerdy things and other things, because he's an outstandingly smart man. However, I love this episode. It was hilarious. I've watched it at least 4 times since it came out. Of course I have.
Of course you have. Only 4?
Well, okay, 4. Then all the reactions that people had to it, and ironically, some of the other people had similar reactions to with Anthony to this. So I'm like, maybe people. And I wanted to quote the words of the pig of the Mr. Potato Head in Toy Story. You uncultured swine! This is the height of film culture to me. But in short,
you might be going a little far with that.
I'm just saying. But yes, I love this episode. And this is just me watching What If actually makes me want to break out my What If comic books and reread them again. Just so I can get that feeling. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Okay. Well, we're not going to ask Anthony because we already know how Anthony feels about this episode. I'm just saying, we don't need to end on a negative note or kind of sort of negative note. We know it's okay for you. And that's fine because, I think we talked about this in one of the previous episodes. The What If series is kind of like you have your highs and you have your lows, and sometimes you're kind of like right in the middle. And I think we've all, for the most part, been kind of sort of split on these 4 episodes, which I think is really interesting because when it comes to certain things, Anthony and I usually agree a lot. And then when it comes to others, Mike and I usually agree a lot. And then sometimes you guys agree and I'm kind of left out in left field. So I think it's very interesting to see where our opinions vary in these particular episodes. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the next 4 episodes bring and how we'll feel about those. But
do we know if there's going to be a season 4?
No, this is the final season.
This is it? Okay.
This is it.
Yep.
Yeah, they've run out of ideas. Yeah.
Yep. So on that note, that is it for our show. You can find us online at www.fandomhybrid.com. We are on social media, on all the social media at Fandom Hybrid. You can watch our videos on our YouTube channel. You can chat with us on our Discord channel, and you can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. Thanks for listening. We hope you join the conversation next time.
Hybrid out.
Know it.